Good evening, listeners. Welcome to Where the Scary Things Are. I'm your host, MonsterMash Ken. And boy, is it good to be back in the seat. I am so excited to have my crew with me, minus one. But welcome to Where the Scary Things Are. Muse, the mistress of darkness, the queen of fright, the lady of the night. Muse, how you doing? I kind of butchered that up, but
I knew you were going to
oh
mess
well.
that up.
I
I was
know,
wondering
I
if you were
know.
going to nail it or not. It's been a
The queen of
minute,
fright,
right?
the lady of the night.
Yeah,
I
we
forgot.
know,
Yeah.
we know. Yeah, well, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
good. It's great to be back. I was gone for a minute there. We all caught the COVID. It was not fun, guys. Not a
Oh
fun ride.
man.
So yeah, I'm just glad to be well and back, and just so glad to be back with you guys.
I'm surprised you caught COVID because I figured you'd be so jazzed to be out in public wearing masks. And I can imagine you wearing like some crazy ass Michael Myers mask or Jason mask or
Right?
some shit. So it would be like your prime time. Like I get to wear a mask and everybody's accepting it. I love it.
Right? Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to bring in Christopher, the creature, Zissy. How are you, my friend? You look like you haven't aged a day.
No, I feel great. I feel younger. It's got to be this new elixir I made. I got my laboratory downstairs, and when the COVID thing started and people were all worried about that, I started abducting people and taking the fluids out of the pineal glands and spine, and I've been making this concoction, which is really making me younger. I should really try it, and but I'm doing great. I had about 4 trips to Savannah in the last few months. Couple of those with trips to the Florida East Coast. And enjoying traveling. And don't worry, watching horror movies every step of the way. And delighted to be back.
Well, you really started off with a David Cronenberg movie, making all these vials and potions and stuff. I like it, man. I like it. And also, one of the OGs of our show is back. Killer Casey, how are you, my dearest friend? I miss your face, and I gotta say, I love your background because
Thank you.
you know, Antrim's part of this show. Where the
It's,
scary things we couldn't do it without Antrim, right?
oh yeah, I know. It runs through your veins. You'll never escape it.
How are you? How's everything going?
I'm pretty great. It's been a crazy year. I haven't talked to you guys in a while. I was in Tennessee before. I'm in Alabama now. I think I'm gonna be here for a little while. I like it. It's quiet.
And speaking of getting older and you and I are somewhat the same age, and I remember meeting you the day I met you in that bar in that crazy situation. You definitely don't look a day older. I don't know what your secret is. I don't know if it's that Southern sun or what, but
Oh,
you
I
should
gained a
market
little
your
weight.
secrets.
It fills out your cheeks a little, and hides all those lines.
Well, you look great.
Thank
Oh
you.
man, so I am so excited. And you know what? I don't have my YouTube up at the moment in front of me, but I will in a second. And I hope, I'll shout you guys out in a minute, but just welcome to the where the scary things are chat room. If you're in there, the unusual suspects are in there. I'll pull that up in a minute. But we're gonna talk. The show's gonna be a little different tonight. We're going to be talking about The Last Rite. This movie comes out in a couple days. Really enjoyed this film. Very spooky. It's a English film, and Chris is going to give us a nice review of that movie later on. So we'll get to that. Now, the thing is, we have the director coming on, but he's in Jolly O London, I believe, and we won't be talking to him tonight, but I will have the interview tomorrow, and I will see if he's okay with getting that live on YouTube. But it will be tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern. So if you're listening to the podcast, you'll get that on the podcast, but you won't get that on the show tonight. But tonight, I want to catch up with everybody. And as always, we'll have our normal get-ups. We're going to have the Sinister Six. We're going to have Chris's rundown. Casey's going to bless us with something, I'm sure, or just sit there and laugh, which is okay by me. I want to talk about some of the movies we've been watching. I've watched a lot of scary movies in this downtime that I've had. And I can't wait to talk about all of them. And if you're wondering where HorrO and that skinny son of a bitch, Dexter had a doctor's appointment. He got COVID. So HorrO had to take Dexter to the ER, and we're hoping that he's going to be okay. So we'll see what happens. So HorrO is missing the show tonight, but just shout out to HorrO and promote horror.com. Anyway, so as I always do, I want to kick off the show with an awesome beer. So Fear the Beer of the Week is this awesome Yangling Hershey's chocolate porter. I don't know if I had this on the show before, but this is a seasonal beer. If you can find it and buy it, this is an amazing, amazing beer. It's got this really slight taste of Hershey as you drink it. It's really nice winter beer. So cheers to you guys. Welcome back to the fold. All right, all right. So this show was kind of thrown together at the last minute. I got the interview opportunity, so I didn't really look at movies that were released on this day. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to flip it up a little bit, and I'm going to give the show to Muse. I'm going to let you do the Sinister Six right now, Muse, and then I'm going to come back around and we'll look at horror movies, and I'll kind of take over for HorrO spot. So let's kick it off with the Sinister Six and Muse.
Okay, I wasn't ready for that, so that's why I'm glad.
Well, no. You know what? This is live.
Ready.
Yeah, this is live. Okay, you need to be ready.
I'm like,
for
he's
anything.
gonna go to me first. Of course he is. Oh
Yeah.
God. Okay, I'm trying not to be too rusty.
If Chris takes off his shirt, we got to be ready for that. So this is live.
I'm not gonna be ready for that. I'm just gonna
All right,
mess
there it
you
goes.
all up, guys.
Naked old man alert.
I love it.
I gotta
All
go.
right,
I gotta go.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, you guys are gonna get me going here. All right, I'm gonna start laughing and not be able to stop. Okay, so we since we are talking about a movie that deals with something extremely terrifying, Chris is gonna go over that in a little bit. I think it's called The Last Rite, and it deals with sleep paralysis. So I thought it would be interesting to check out some films that deal with that horrifying phenomenon. And I'm gonna tell you, I cannot imagine this. I love to sleep. So honestly, this would be extremely terrifying and just horrible. I mean, I can't even imagine being afraid to go to sleep because for fear that something could happen. And I've talked to people that deal with this issue, and I can't even imagine. So I decided to check out some movies, and I have not seen any of these. Actually, one of them I know Chris has seen and has done a review for it in the past, actually. I know he knows where I'm going with that one, probably. But I'm going to run down this really fast. Again, I have not seen these, and these are definitely movies I want to check out here on the Thanksgiving holiday. Definitely a good time to catch up on movies after you've eaten way too much turkey and good stuff like that. So let me just start off really quick. All right. So the first one is, since Ken, okay, yeah, Ken's not got my slides, so I'm just gonna go ahead and jump in. Is called Be Afraid from 2017. And the good thing about all these too is that every one of them, I think, besides one, and I'll get to that one in a minute, is streaming for free somewhere. So check them out, and they'll all be free to watch over here on the holiday and all kinds of good stuff. So the first one is Be Afraid from 2017. And it centers on a man named John who begins to experience sleep paralysis. And as he lies in bed paralyzed, entities that exist in the darkest shadows of the night visit him. John's horror intensifies when he learns that the beings plan to abduct his 7-year-old son. So that's kind of horrifying. I mean, it's bad enough, but they seem to be centering around his young son as well. So that sounds pretty crazy. The second one is actually a documentary, and I think this was streaming on Netflix at one point. I don't know where it is now. This might be this is not the one. Actually, I think this is streaming for free as well. It's called The Nightmare. And this is more of a documentary style, and not found footage. It's literally a documentary, and it's the only documentary on the list here. All the rest are all movies, but these center on 8 people who have experienced sleep paralysis and a condition which leaves them unable to move, speak, or react. And like I said, it sounds pretty terrifying. Some people feel like they're being smothered or strangled. They definitely can't move, and it's just absolutely terrifying. So this is kind of more like personal accounts of people that have experienced that, rather than, and I think there's like reenactments. Again, I've not seen it, but it sounds pretty crazy. The third film is called Mara, and it was from 2017, and it centers on a criminal psychologist who investigates mysterious strangling death of a man in his bed. So she soon meets members of a community who tell her about a centuries-old demon that kills people in their sleep. So obviously, there's a theme going on here. And, if a lot of this, some people often think it's psychological. Other people say supernatural. Sometimes it's a mixture, but there's always some kind of, it seems like, an entity involved. And the fourth film is Dead Awake. Now, this is the one that I really kind of wanted to see because it stars Jocelyn Donahue. And if you remember her, she starred in, what is it? Now I'm in a blank. Something to do with the devil. And she's a great actress. This is from 2016. It's streaming free on Pluto TV. And she plays Kate Bowman, a by-the-book social worker who is investigating a series of mysterious deaths. Each victim suffers from sleep paralysis, a frightening ailment that immobilizes its victims as they dream. Kate is approached by an unorthodox doctor who warns of an evil entity that haunts people in their sleep. Again, entity. She brushes aside his admonition, but when a terrifying entity begins to haunt Kate's friends and loved ones, she must fight to stay awake to stop the nightmare she's unleashed. So that was one. And I think it also stars another actress that we're going to have on the show or have had on the show. So you'll definitely, I think her name is Brea Grant. I think that's her name. And the last movie, let me see, unless it's called Slumber. And this is the one I was talking about that Chris has reviewed on his blog. This is still streaming for free on Tubi, and it stars Maggie Q. She's a great actress, love her. And she plays a doctor who must confront her own nightmares while battling a parasitic demon that preys on people while they sleep. And I'm sorry, I forgot one last one called The Haunting of Mia Moss. This one is, again, centering on shadowy figures who stalk a woman as she experiences disturbing nightmares and episodes of sleep paralysis. And I think that's the only one that is not streaming for free. It's on Amazon Prime, but a lot of people have that. So you should still be able to watch it. But that just kind of gives each of us some more movies. Let's just add more movies to the never ending list. I just added about 6 more for sure. So I'm going to swing around to you guys and ask you guys, have you ever experienced sleep paralysis, or do you know of any movies that you really thought were pretty freaky that center on that? Or, I kind of like just want to get your guys' feedback. And I'll start with Chris, because we talked about Slumber just a second ago.
If sleep doctors look like Maggie Q, I think I would conjure up some sleep disorders. And,
right?
Yeah. A couple of comments. One is, you might say that these are all offshoots of the Nightmare on Elm Street phenomenon. You're in dreamland, and now you're no longer in control, and something else is. But I have never experienced sleep paralysis, sleep slumber, or sleepwalking, or that I know about. For all I know, my neighbors are laughing hysterically as I walk down the street at 3 a.m. I don't know. I have dealing with police departments. They deal with this a lot with Alzheimer's patients. At 3 a.m, they think they're well dressed. They go outside. They think it's 3 p.m. They think they're dressed. But I have never experienced that. The Maggie Q movie Slumber is a terrific movie, very scary movie. It goes into some very dark places. There's a fair amount of carnage. And it's sort of a poltergeist type setting where you have a family involved, which is on the verge of just being decimated by this disorder. But I think you hit most of the good ones. I'm trying to think of any others I know that focus on it. And I know I will once we sign off today, but we'll talk about it a little more when we get to the last right.
All right. So Casey, I'm curious as to your thoughts on this phenomenon. What are your thoughts? I mean, have you seen any movies like this, or, heard about this happening to anybody you know?
Yeah, it happens to me probably 3 or 4 times a year.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, it's not fun.
That does not sound fun. It sounds horrifying.
Yeah,
honestly.
it's and I have known some people who have to deal with it a lot more often than that. But it's really odd how it hits you like a nightmare. And I'm sorry, I've got a cat screaming back here. But
been there.
Yeah. But yeah, it does hit you like a nightmare, and you think you see things like black shadows standing over you and things like that, because you're trapped and you can't move and you can't get up. It's like someone's holding you down. And you think about in the past, people who they thought were possessed, and they would say someone's holding me down and I can't move and I can't breathe and I'm seeing dark things. Yeah, that's sleep paralysis. I mean, I'm not saying they didn't experience anything, but in my case, yeah, sleep paralysis. It sucks. It really sucks.
Majorly, because I mean, if sleeping were a sport, man, I would be gold medaling in that crap. So I couldn't even imagine, because that's what I do to escape everything is sleep.
Oh gosh, I'm a 9-hour a night person. I agree.
Right.
I sleep a lot.
Me too. And I mean, it's just, I can't imagine. That would be just a horrifying thing to go through. And I'd probably be afraid to go to sleep, from what it sounds like. All right, Ken, I'm going to harass you. I'm coming for you next.
Oh man. Yeah, I've experienced it a few times. I could clearly remember like my mom trying to wake me up and I'm just like looking at her like, I've had it a few times where dreams have been so vividly scary. And I know she's going to hate me for this, but Jen, the girl I'm dating right now, she has really bad nightmares, are really vivid. And I'm looking at her right now as I'm talking to her. She's listening to the show, but she has really bad nightmares, are really vivid and stuff, and talk about, like, it's crazy how the dream world does that to us, and you don't know when you wake up. You're so disoriented, like what's real, what's fake, and it takes a minute for you to kind of readjust to where you're at, and then am I hurt? Is that person hurt? Do I need to call that person? Why couldn't I snap out of it? Or how about when you're dreaming and you can't you're trying to wake yourself up in the dream, kind of like in like Nightmare on Elm Street, like wake yourself up, wake up. And sometimes I've done that, or like you have reoccurring dreams. I used to have this dream all the time where everything's happy and fine and whatever, and all of a sudden, like there's this loud alarm that just goes off. It's not my alarm like real life, because that's a nightmare in itself. But like just like this, like we're in World War II and the bomb alarm's going off, and I'm like wakes me up and everything turns red in my dream, and I've had that dream recurring. Or maybe like you have a visitor in your dream, like a family member that comes to talk to you in your dreams. Or I remember I used to dream about this old woman who would sit at the end of my bed all the time, and I used to be so terrified that I couldn't move. And I can remember it vividly in my mind. Or people talk about dreams when they're falling, or they're floating or whatever. So the dream world is crazy, but I think it does have a little bit to do with sleep paralysis, because sometimes you're half awake, in these dreams, or you don't know if you're awake or whatever. But it's wild. And then there's dreams that you have, if you're like on medication or you're drinking or whatever, and I think you get a little bit more intensified. So I remember, if I get like a cold and I take like the Tussin, or Robitussin or whatever, Sudafed, that medication makes me have more of a vivid dream, and it's a crazy scenario. And as far as your movies go, I don't think I've seen any one of those movies, Muse, and I'm a little upset at you. Let me tell you why.
Oh, great.
Let me tell you why. Because all this time that we were off air and we weren't doing anything with ourselves, I was doing homework for Where the Scary Things Are. I was watching movies, and now I'm set back even further. Thanks.
That's
Muse.
right. There's some more.
Yeah,
have some more.
thanks.
Just like keeping it on your plate. Here's some more mashed potatoes. Have some more.
Yeah, right. Yeah, eat it up. But I'll take it, because I did watch a couple of that, and I'll get into it in a minute, that you really like and that you've recommended, and I finally have gotten to them, and I'm excited to talk about them. But anyway,
I mean, yeah,
I'll throw it back to you.
Yeah, that's about it. That was my list. And like some more horror movies for everybody. And again, those are all streaming free, except for I think The Haunting of Mia Moss, which is on Amazon Prime. You have to have a subscription for that. But like I said, everybody has Amazon, so that shouldn't be an issue. So yeah, check those out. I'm going to check some of those out over the break. And definitely check out Chris's blog to see his review of Slumber. It's definitely I actually started watching that one. So I've seen part of it, but I didn't finish it. And it was really good from what I saw. And like I said, Maggie Q is just awesome, excellent. And that's reason to see it enough right there. And Brea Grant is great as well. I think she's in that as well. But
no.
so yeah.
Brea Grant was in The Stylist.
Okay, yeah,
Oh
I
yeah,
think
yeah,
she was
yeah.
in one of the movies that on my list here too,
Yeah.
from what I was seeing. I don't know if that was the one. It might have been Dead Awake. I'm not sure. But at any rate, yeah, I mean, as far as before I turn back over to you, I can totally. I've not experienced sleep paralysis. Thank goodness. I can't imagine. But I do. I've had some pretty vivid dreams, and I don't know if anybody has ever experienced where they dream something and it actually happens. And I've had that happen quite a few times, and some pretty horrible stuff and some good stuff. So it's like puts a whole new spin on nightmares, because if the nightmare is realistic, you're always kind of worried, is this going to happen? Is it not going to happen? So yeah, I am definitely a vivid dreamer, so I can definitely relate with some of what you said, Ken, for sure. But yeah, just crazy topic, and I won't get off on a rabbit trail about that. So am I handing it to Chris for his review, or am I handing it over to you, Ken?
No, no, I'll take.
All right.
So, really good segment, Muse. I'll definitely have to check out some of those movies. Weird fact though, and this is kind of weird. Um, every Black Friday, I have to celebrate a really bad time in my life, and I had to put my cat down, and I always remember this because it was on Black Friday, and I was never really close to pets until I had this cat, and there's a story behind it. Like, I came home and she was pretty much dying. I got to say goodbye to her, but and it was Black Friday, but her name was Mara, and that was one of the movies that you brought up. So it's kind of weird that
That
kind
is
of weird.
crazy.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah. I mean, I love that
right?
name, because I was kind of like, I think it was actually referring to, I thought it was the lead actress in the movie, but I think it's actually referring to the entity actually in that movie, which I thought was really crazy. So it made me even want to watch it even more. So yeah, I
I
love the name. Beautiful name.
I know what movie it is too, because I've been wanting to watch it just because of the name. And the reason why I named my cat Mara is a Star Wars character, Mary Jade. Uh, so yeah. Anyway, so speaking of which, I'm gonna kind of go off and kind of talk about some of the movies that I've been watching as we've been sitting down. Um, I watched Ghostbusters the other night, Afterlife, and I gotta say, I really liked it. I thought that it was a whole new take. Obviously, there's this whole kid movement in horror films, like you're putting uh, like I think Stranger Things has kind of laid the brickwork here, the foundation for these new movies, these new horror movies or whatever. I mean, obviously, like we look at they're real kids, and we watch Nightmare on Elm Street. They were kids, but they were still kind of older, like these 25-year-olds in high school type thing. You know what I mean? Like it just didn't make sense. But now they're actually using like 12-year-olds in these movies, which is kind of fun. So I liked Ghostbusters. I thought it was really cool. If you haven't seen it yet, obviously you probably know that there is a lot of cameos in there, and it's funny because they've all aged, but Winston looks the same, man. He looks like he hasn't aged a day. And I didn't cry. I did not cry. I know some of you may, but I did not cry. I almost did. But Ghostbusters is like one of those movies like Ninja Turtles or Batman when it's part of my childhood, and I watched it. I watched a cartoon, whatever, and I could not wait to see this movie. So I watched that, and I would give it a thumbs up. Another movie I watched Candyman, the new one, thumbs down. It was bloody at some parts. It was this whole taking the mantle type thing. There's a lot more dialogue in there. Thumbs down. I watched, was it Don't Breathe? I think Don't Breathe, the second one. Watched that one. Yeah, it was just like a action movie. This guy's beating the crap out. I don't know. It was weird. I didn't watch the first one. I watched this one. I don't think I had to watch the first one. Not my favorite movie, but I watched it. Um, let's see. I watched oh, okay. So last night I watched It Follows, Muse and Chris. I think Chris, that was one of your movies. A lot of premarital sex there in that one. Naked women running around. Loved it. And it was all right. It was all right. I did fall asleep a couple times. And yeah, it was all right. Check it out. I watched what's the one where The Descent, The Descent. Muse, I know you talked about that one a lot. Enjoyed it. Lots of blood. Very cool. Thumbs up. Let's see. Me and Jen started watching and I liked it. The third season was cool. enjoyed it. If you guys are looking for something to binge watch, it's definitely binge worthy. Liked it. Thumbs up. I mean, it wasn't like horror. There were some cool parts in it, whatever. But anything that when people are dying and there's good blood in it, I like to talk about it. Let's see. I've watched so many movies. I can't remember them all. We watched Hell House LLC again because it's such a good movie. I love that movie. It's probably one of the only movies that really, kept my eyes open for a minute. Second time around, but it was still good. It was still pretty good. Yeah, there's so many. I didn't watch Halloween. I didn't care to watch Halloween. Sorry, Muse. I don't know if you saw it, but I don't know. I just that ship sailed for me. I don't think I have any desire to watch that one. So yeah, that's pretty much. I mean, I've watched so many, and I should have made a list. But there's so many great horror films out there right now, and I feel like there's this movement, and everybody's putting out these great films, and I'm excited to watch a lot of the stuff that's coming out down the road. And one film that I'm excited for, and there's a lot of talk about it, is The Exorcist, and I'm excited to watch it because the original is my favorite horror movie of all time, and when it comes out, I have high hopes for it, and I hope that's not bad. Because we get high hopes for all these movies that come out and they just drop the ball. So yeah, I want to hear, what you guys are watching out there. I think that Amazon, Netflix, not so much, but I think Amazon has a good selection of horror films. You just scroll through there, and oh, this looks pretty good. What was that one that we watched with the woman was seeing her therapist and he was a bad guy? Oh, fudge. Anyway, I forgot. I'm sorry. I'm going off the beaten path here, but there's a lot of good films. You should check them out. Yeah. So Casey, what have you been watching?
Is that the first time you've seen The Descent?
It is.
Wow.
I know.
That's a good one.
It really was.
Well, let's see. I don't know about what is this. This is the first I've heard about them doing The Exorcist again. Why are we doing this?
Yeah, they're saying. I don't know, but I'm
HorrO,
excited.
HorrO would be horrified.
Yeah. Horrified HorrO.
Well, all right. I guess we'll see what happens with that. I actually heard that the Paranormal Activity was at 6 or 7 now.
It's 21 actually.
I
actually heard great reviews of that one, and I kind of want to see it because I liked the first 2 of those, and then I kind of ran away with me. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that one actually. Let's see. I've seen a few horror movies. I've seen some weird stuff lately that doesn't exactly slide into horror, but I saw Shadow in the Cloud, which I liked. It was kind of a left field World War II story of the gremlin on the bombardier plane. And it was interesting. I was entertained. And I've actually been listening to some podcasts, like true haunting podcasts, which are my trash podcasts. I love those. I listen to them all the time.
Wow. Like true stories types things, or just
yeah, or there are these 2 older ladies in Australia. It's called True Hauntings, and they're actually paranormal investigators, and they debunk a lot of stuff, and they go pretty deep into the Exorcist story too, and how that whole story came about in the first place. So, and the exorcism of Emily Rose and that whole story and what really happened, and it's interesting. They don't debunk everything, but a lot of stuff, yeah.
Yeah, we're watching the Gettysburg ghost stuff, and that's something pretty interesting. We're hoping to get out there to Gettysburg and check that out. And I was thinking about like what qualifies you to be a ghost hunter. You just buy some things on Amazon, like ghost hunting equipment, just go around.
That's the whole Wild West kind of thing. But like people, ever since the reality shows have come out, it's just exploded. So people are everywhere, totally everywhere.
I follow a lot of people on Twitter. There's a lot of strange people out there, and I'm grateful for everybody that follows me. I don't know why you follow me, but I got a good chunk there. Not as much as Muse and Chris, but I got a good chunk. And there's someone that just, I'm not going to say their name, but it just has like who they are. They do this show, Ghost Hunter, and I'm like, Okay. Or no, certified ghost hunter. Like, where do you get your certifications at? Who's certifying you? The ghost? Like, how do you sign up for this? Where do I submit my resume? Like,
I don't think
what
that can
what
be like a confirmed field of study. You know what I'm saying? It's
I don't get it. It's like I watched all seasons of Ghost Hunter, so I'm certified. I'm good to go. I can go hunt some ghosts. I've seen Ghostbusters a few times,
there you
you
go.
know.
I actually saw the original Ghostbusters Monday, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, the same as I did the first time I saw it. I can never not watch that movie when it comes on.
That's a great point. And I'm going to ask each of you guys before I hand it on over to Chris. Ghostbusters 1 or 2, because I think both of them are really good. And I'm gonna have to slide over to Ghostbusters 2. And that's my
Oh,
thing.
wow.
Muse, what do you like? Ghostbusters 1 or 2?
I'm gonna go with one. I like two, but I just one hit it for me for sure. I love how they change. You know, the what is the name of the guy in the painting? I don't know why I'm just blanking tonight, but
Vigo.
Vigo. Yeah, I
Vigo.
mean that was a cool twist to the story. I love that.
Yeah, I
But
liked
I hated
Vigo.
that Bill Murray was beefing with Sigourney Weaver in that one. So, but I still a lot of fun. I don't think you can really go wrong. You pop either one of them on, and it's just a money shot for sure. But I actually like the OG original in this one. So yeah, which is
Casey, what
weird
about you?
because I love sequels, but
Yeah. What about you, Casey?
I I do. I'm a big fan of Vigo. I gotta say, I am. But on the whole, yeah, Ghostbusters 1 for sure.
And Chris, what about you?
Only Ghostbusters 1 has the song in it that we all probably sing in the shower. I think Ray Parker Jr. And don't lie, you've all sung it in the shower at full blast, and the others don't have that. So on that alone, I think you got to go with the one.
But you have Bobby Brown in part 2. You know, that's a that's a story in itself. Anyway, yeah, you know what? John Grant agrees with me on the chat there. He's saying Ghostbusters too. So thanks, John.
oh, he said also that Max von Sydow voiced Vigo. I did not know that. That is cool. Very cool. Great actor.
You know what's crazy about Max von Sydow is, he was in The Exorcist. He was Father Merrin, and they made him look older in that movie, right?
He was only 37 years old.
Right, right. And then you see him, I think he just recently passed away not too long ago, a couple years ago or something like that. And he still looked the same. It was like, I just never understood that. Was it the same guy? And then recently I was like, oh my God, it's Max. I just didn't understand that. So amazing job there. Yeah, so great movies all around. I'd love to hear what you guys are watching out there. Please hit us up on our Twitter pages. You can find Chris at CJ Zisi on Twitter. You can find Casey at, what is it, Casey?
It's Casey Space.
Casey Space, yeah,
Yes.
on Twitter. And you can find Muse Halo Girl at Halo Girl on Twitter. And then me, I'm MonsterMash Ken. But yeah, we want to hear what you're watching out there. We're online all the time between the 5 of us with HorrO. And yeah, any recommendations you have that we should watch, please let us know. As always, we are on Tuesday nights for the most part. Hopefully we're going forward. We'll be on every Tuesday night. But yeah, let's get into our interview and not our interview, but our review of the movie, The Right. I'm excited to hear what Chris has to say and what he thinks about this movie. So the creature feature of the week with Chris, the creature, Zissy.
All right, let's talk about a movie that will conjure up. I love that word, conjure. Up images of Babadook, The Exorcist, and Amityville Horror. Put all those three together. About an hour into the movie, there's still about 35, 37 minutes left in the movie. There's an image, and I know you all saw it. And you just mentioned it, Ken. Max von Sydow. Remember in The Exorcist when he finally arrives at the house? It's foggy out. There's a lamppost up there, and you see his silhouette in the lamplight looking up at the house. That classic Exorcist image. They have it here. I don't think there was fog, but when Father Roberts from The Last Rite shows up at the house, it is, Mr. Kincaid, our director friend, who was actually a pro wrestler, big pro wrestler in the UK, had The Exorcist in mind. Now, what follows after that scene with 35, 37 minutes left in the movie will leave you absolutely no doubt that he had The Exorcist in mind. But that's a good thing. I don't know if you want to say he pays homage to The Exorcist, but you'd rather have him do that than Beaches or Men Don't Leave or Terms of Endearment. But this movie on its own, there's the Exorcist influences, the Amityville Horror influences, the Babadook influences. Don't have to tell them. You're going to see him right away, and you're going to see him often. But the movie is actually interesting. If you want to look at it from a theological point of view, if you look at The Exorcist from a theological point of view, from Catholic theology, it is just a burning theological, almost evangelical movie because of how it's put forth. Now, this is the Last Rite is the Church of England's version of The Exorcist. Are they different? I'm going to let you figure that out. I noticed a few differences, but this is not a theology show. And it's not something that really interests me, so it's not something we're going to talk about. But let's get to the movie. The Leroy Kincaid is our director here. Does a wonderful job. First director effort. It's a good one. I think he's up for some awards. I mean, he's being recognized for this movie that's going to come out in a week or less. But the movie is set in England. We have a very lovely actress who plays Lucy, Bethan Waller. We've got a very talented actor who plays Johnny, or that plays Ben, her paramour. They're not married. This whole thing might start because they're living together without the benefit of clergy, and that's never a good thing. Although, just wait, the clergy's going to make its appearance in the movie, and when it does, the whole thing's going to explode in just horrific possession, you name it. It's going to be good. Kit Smith plays Father Roberts. I guess you could say he's the Max von Sydow character here. He'll be matched up with the Damien Karras type character later on. Now, what's interesting about that is he is being matched up with a guy who knows exorcisms well. And he's also having a crisis in faith. Does that sound familiar? It should. And however much of a copy of The Exorcist that might sound, it is actually a very pertinent question about what our clergy goes through. We take it for granted when we see them up in front of us on Sunday morning, but we never assume that they might have struggles themselves. And I think it's a very important message. Okay, Lucy. Effervescent. I think she's a grad student. She's doing a thesis. We don't know yet. We'll find out later about some trauma and some really weird experiences she had when she was a little girl. It won't talk about that here. It does shed a lot of light on what she's going through, but we won't talk about it. You'll see it in the movie. They'll explain it. And she's living without the benefit of clergy with Ben. Ben is a loser in the making. As the film begins, he is, I think, an art distributor. He sells art. And not too far into the movie, it's looking like he's going to be an utter failure. He has a nice house, seems to be living well, but work isn't going well. And he gets a little snippy and snappy. For the first few minutes of the movie, he's a very romantic, very Casanova type. That changes with a little bit of adversity in his business. And now you can almost see him, and I don't want to say abusive, but women who have been abused might see the initial stages of an oncoming abuse. That's something you're going to want to keep in mind. He doesn't end up being a sympathetic character, and that's not going to, you're not going to have to wait too long for that. And it's going to, what you got to realize here is Lucy is sort of trapped in the first few minutes of the movie. It's easy to miss because you're waiting for something you know that's going to happen. You're waiting for the major event, not realizing that this maybe prelude to abuse, being all of a sudden trapped is actually the impetus of what is going to happen to her. It's alluded to later, but just keep that in mind. See what you think. And starts off very slowly of noise in the other room that could very well be something just falling off of a table. Maybe an image that you look around and it could have been a shadow. And then it gets a little spookier. Like she takes a selfie of herself, and there it is, right behind her, the dark man, or the tall man, or the man with the hat. You'll recognize him from the Babadook. Same guy. Well, not the same guy, but you're gonna say that's the guy in the Babadook. And things are going to start to happen. Maybe a ghost of her grandmother coming back to either warn her or something pretending to be the ghost to lure her in. You be the judge. You'll see that. But it's her life with Ben is going downhill fast. Her good friend Ellie's in this movie for a couple of reasons. One is she's really, really hot, and she is played by Tara Hoyes Martinez, a very pretty actress. And she's the only one who's right about everything in the movie. She meets Lucy early on and says, hey, it's not going well. You need to leave him. And you can see Lucy knows she's right. And you also see she can't do it because she's trapped. Now, that's kind of tough for somebody like me to understand that. But a lot of people could fill in the blanks on that. And in that little prison she finds herself on, the entity comes for her. And the sleep paralysis parts, they begin. And it's quite horrific. It's quite dangerous. It's quite brutal. She could have died. In this instance, she could have died. In that instance, I mean, you'll see it. And she realizes she needs to reach out for help. She goes on the internet, finds a guy who's written all about this. He is about no help at all other than saying you're screwed. And she probably is. But you know something? When we say you're probably screwed, are we talking about the entity, or are we talking about Ben in the life she believes she's trapped in? Or is one symbolic of the other? Again, a little social commentary here. Please ignore it. I don't know what I'm talking about. But she finally gets to see Father Roberts, who knows nothing about this, and God bless him, he admits it. But he elects to go look around, and when he goes to look around, it is really starting. I mean, forget about the sleep paralysis stuff. Think about what you saw in the movie The Exorcist. Stuff like that is going on. And this is a woman who becomes hauled into darkness and hauled into, call it possession. And she's battling, or she's done battling. She's pretty much far gone now, but the Father Roberts is fighting for her, trying to get an approval for, you've seen The Exorcist, and so you're thinking, how will this end? Where will it go? Will it be like The Exorcist? Will it be something different? It's going to be ominous. It's going to be scary. It's going to be wild and ambitious in that final 20, 25 minutes. And I tell you, it's you're going to be pulling for Lucy. You're going to be hoping that whatever's in Lucy jumps into Ben, and Ben jumps out the window. Remember that from The Exorcist? Now, that's not going to happen. But yeah, that's how dark we are, and that's how much we're going to like Lucy and want her to beat this, because it really looks like from the time she was born, she was almost cursed to be going through this. And now is the time for victory. It's either now or never. Can Father Roberts, who really knows nothing about exorcisms, can he help? You'll see. It's a biting, it's a fast-paced movie, and that's going to surprise some of my colleagues here, because if you look at it as just somebody going down the path of possession, you could say this is a slow-moving movie. But a girl who starts off a very, 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 very nice life, stepping into bondage for more than just an evil spirit, that's going to start happening very quickly. And if you look at the movie that way, then you could say it's fast paced. But I look forward to meeting Leroy Kincaid tomorrow and asking him about his wrestling career. I think he was on WrestleMania 02. He was big, from what I understand. Who knew? So that's my review of The Last Ride. It's going to come out in a few days. See it. You're going to like it. It's going to remind you of a number of other movies. You're going to wonder if that Rod Steiger scene from the Amityville Horror is in it. And I know, Muse, you were waiting for that scene. I'm not going to say if it's in it or not, but it's a very, very interesting movie.
Excellent. All right. Yeah, I'm excited too. So we're going to take a little pause here, and I'll add in the interview. And we'll be right back. All right, good stuff. Yeah, I want to talk to you guys. What's going on with Thanksgiving? You guys have big plans? Eating that turkey? What are you guys doing here? Chris, you cooking or what?
Yeah, well, not me, which is good. The wife, yes.
You would serve you'd serve Twizzlers and Mountain Dew for Thanksgiving.
Pick up at Bob Evans. I think they have a turkey dinner. That's what I would do, but no, there'll actually be a turkey and cranberry sauce and stuffing. It's just going to be for 3 of us. Matt won't be able to make it home because of his job being the new guy on. So we're going to have it here, but we sort of had a mini one down in Savannah with Janine's brother, a real good guy. I like him a lot. And it was good to see him. And so that'll be good. So, yeah, but we'll have the turkey and the cranberry sauce and the pumpkin pie, which we just got today. So it'll be good.
Yeah, I love pumpkin pie, man. I already had one. We bought a pie the other day. And, yeah. Let me ask you, do you do whipped cream on the pumpkin pie or no whipped cream?
Everybody in the family does except for me.
Wow.
You know what I say about whipped cream? A moment on the lips, a lifetime on the hips.
Casey, what about you? What's up for Thanksgiving for you?
Well, it's so easy now. I mean, my family's in my backyard, so I get to show up with turkey and ham and coconut cake and all the stuff my mom makes, and it's going to be pretty fun. Yeah, my nephews are going to be there and a couple of the brothers, so lots of football and lots of food.
Yeah, speaking of football, Muse and my team plays, and there's not a lot to be excited about. But real quick before I jump over to you, Muse, John Grant wants to celebrate Thanksgiving because obviously, he's across the pond there, and they don't celebrate Thanksgiving there. You're missing out, John. You're missing out. Come hang out with us. We'd love to have you. But Muse, how's Thanksgiving at your house? What's going on over there?
Yeah, I mean, usually, my uncle has it, and sometimes we all go, sometimes we stay home. I'm gonna eat regardless. Somebody's gonna bring me something, or I'm gonna go get it or something. But I was gonna ask you guys, what is like one dish at Thanksgiving that everybody else likes that you will not touch? I was grilling Jamie on this the other day. Like, what is one thing that everybody else likes that you're like, no, that's disgusting? We had this big long discussion about cranberry sauce, and it seems like pretty polarizing. Honestly, it's just like a huge argument. I love it personally.
I think that's the only one that, for me, that I would think, there's cranberry slices, which I like the slices.
Yeah, that's me. I like the gelled stuff. And that was the thing is like, Jamie hates it. He's like, that's disgusting. I'm not touching it. It is. I love it.
It is gross. If you think about it, it's
disgusting. It tastes good.
But it tastes so good. Yeah. But the cranberry, like, what they make the actual sauce with the berries and stuff, which I've had, and not even just at Thanksgiving, but like at other restaurants and stuff. It's kind of like the soury taste. And I don't know. I like the more of the sliced up out of the can, produced stuff. Casey, what about you? I don't know.
Hey, I like real cranberries. I like the slices. I would say Brussels sprouts are pretty polarizing.
I mean,
those are rough, like a little baby potent cabbages that give you terrible breath.
I can't do the green bean casserole. For some reason, everybody else likes that, but me, I can't do it. No.
I cannot do marshmallow on top of sweet potatoes. That's sacrilegious. I don't know.
That's fair.
So
I guess I
much.
shouldn't say that's one of my favorite things.
It's so much sugar. I don't know. I think I would pass
Yeah.
out, but yeah, I get it.
What about you, Chris?
The only thing that comes to mind is the dark meat of the turkey. I just
Oh.
avoid the dark meat. I want a little too oily. I don't know the texture. I don't know. And with next to the white meat, I'm just going for the white meat. I just don't want the dark meat.
There it is for me. Though I don't like the white meat. I like the dark meat. That's the
Perfect.
one
We
thing I
need to
don't
get
like.
together.
There
Yeah.
you go. I will
Yeah.
eat a whole turkey with you. Then we'll split it in half. I will take all the dark meat. You can have the white meat.
Well,
All
ham is
right.
better than turkey anyway.
Oh yeah. I
No.
like it.
No.
No,
No.
it is not.
I'm with
However,
Ken. I like the dark meat. I think I like the dark
Yeah.
meat better. It's juicier. It's got a little more flavor.
Yeah.
White meat, I love white meat. I like it both. I like both, but sometimes white meat's a little dry. So
Yeah.
that kind of bugs me a little bit. But
As we all are.
Yeah.
You want
Me
to hear
especially.
something? You want to hear something funny? I'll tell you. Thanksgiving leftovers is probably one of the only leftovers I'll ever eat. I just don't like leftovers, and unless it's lasagna, I do like lasagna leftover. But the white meat, because it's always left over, I'll put soy sauce on it, and I like it.
Ah.
And I don't know why it's weird.
Yeah, that sounds
I'm so
good.
weird. And Thanksgiving dinners, like I load I'll have 2 plates. Like I don't mess around. Like I am so excited to eat Thanksgiving dinner. And one time a year, Casey, as far as your comment goes on ham, I'm not a big ham fan. Like I'll eat it, but until recently, I've discovered a recipe that I would make a ham and I love it. So if you slow cook your ham, it's better instead of cooking it in the oven, and it makes it so much juicier. But yeah, good stuff. I want to just wrap up the show and say, I've missed you guys dearly. I miss HorrO and Dexter even. I missed all the unusual suspects in our chat room there. They're in there laughing at or ranting about Thanksgiving dinner.
And I have one shout out too.
Yes. So just the shout outs we'll go through and go ahead, Chris. What do you got?
I got a good friend on Twitter. I've known him for many years, and he reads my reviews and he always retweets them. And so I know he'd lay down his life for me if need be. He is actually beginning an endeavor. You horror fans who also like heavy metal, this is something you're going to want to pay attention to. And go find my buddy Outside Darkness on Twitter. He's you'll get more information from them, but if I can just give you a couple of talking points, which I have right here. It's going to be a live music with a scary 60s horror vibe with it. It's going to be equivalent of watching a motorcycle stunt show. This is his goal. This is his plan. I think it's going to start in the Orlando area. They want to let's see, a full day of horror, sci-fi, heavy metal, and motor stunt events. Sounds like a tractor pull meets the haunted house type motif. It'll be fun. It'll be scary. There'll be foods. There'll be makeup contests. There'll be ghost chasing. There'll be a unique rock event, heavy metal, I'm sure. Good's gonna battle evil, custom designed guitars. And this all needs to happen. He is dead set on getting it to happen. This is his goal. There's a Kickstarter for it. And so go find my buddy Outside Darkness on Twitter, and you could probably get a link to the Kickstarter. And at least if you don't have the money to give, a lot of people don't, that's fine. But you'll be able to get updates on how close they are and their plans for it and when it will be. So that's something for the near future.
Right on. Casey, do you have any shout outs?
Oh man, I'm rarely on Twitter anymore, but everyone's still lovely whenever I log in.
If you're lonely.
Great Instagram stuff, though.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, there's some pretty good Instagram.
I don't know how to do Instagram. I just
Casey does.
It's just pictures. It's okay.
Yeah, I don't even know. It's just there. Muse, how about you? You have any shout outs?
No shout outs. Just want to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody and missed all you guys. And I just kind of echo what Ken said, it's been great seeing everybody back in the chat and just excited that we're all back together. And yeah, happy Thanksgiving. No real like formal shout outs or anything though.
Right on. Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving to all our listeners out there. It was good to be back. Hopefully we're back again. I do have a couple shows in the pipeline for us. And yeah, follow us on Twitter at Scary Things Pod and Facebook as well and Instagram. You can also just check out the website at www.wherethescarythingsare.com. I'm your host, MonsterMash Ken, and thank you for listening. Make sure you follow us all on Twitter, Chris the Creature, Casey, and Muse. Till next time, my friends, keep it scary.
That was fun.
Yeah, that was a great way to start the holiday.
So where is that
Yeah.
movie going to be? We're at the last ride. Where's that going to
I'll-
be?